Welcome to Homeschool 201. I call it 201 because we're getting into level 2, which is going to get really exciting. We're going to actually feel like we accomplished something, so actually it is kind of nice. First, I want to do a quick check-in, tell you something that's nice about homeschooling. We actually left the state for a few days just to kind of get away for a moment, away from the house, all the packing, etc., while still social distancing and wearing our masks, of course. But the nice thing is I can still homeschool. I don't have to take them out of school. I can keep attendance days. And really all I had to bring were my document notebooks, the kids' reading books for the week, and some new notebooks that they're going to need for Free Write Fridays. I'll show you that in a little bit. And of course some electronics, because that'll take care of your electives and workouts, even with music, YouTube, etc. So I really didn't have to grab a whole lot, and we're still homeschooling. The kids get their attendance days. They don't seem to have a problem with it, while we still get to go out and do a couple small things. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is first kind of tell you how to take some end of the month, end of the level type notes, show you what I have written down. I did that just today. And I'm also going to show some things you need to do for the beginning of the new month, because September's starting, so I kind of got that all prepared. I'm getting ready to go through it with the kids as well to kind of tell them what I'm expecting of them this week, or actually over the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to tell you what level 2 is, because that's what we're starting this week. We're going to do level 2 for 2 weeks and then bump it up to level 2.5 for the next 2 weeks, which I'll explain probably next week or the week after that. So here we go. Okay, first let's start with what I brought. My daughter, we brought her calendar. They have their notebooks and their new books. There's a couple more notebooks over here, and that was pretty much everything I had to bring to continue schooling on the road. So not too shabby. Okay, let's start with the end of the month or level notes. The first thing you want to write down is each subject, like what they did, their times with it, any troubles they had, any sick days you need to write down, total attendance days and time, that kind of thing. I have all my kids' notes out here so we can give you several examples. Here's my youngest. She did read to me books, 2 each day. It just kind of tells what she did each day. She had a sick day where she wasn't feeling too well. She made up the workout today. Let's see, the attendance days. She went for a total of 10 days. 1 hour each daily, about 20 minutes per topic. My son, very similar. Not a whole lot of new notes. He skipped the elective a couple of times. That's going to happen. If they skip something or somehow it gets skipped, whether they're sick or just doesn't get done, I just made sure they knew, hey, you have to finish it by the beginning of the next week, or we can't do this, or you can kind of do whatever you want with that just to make sure they get done. So my kids finished everything they needed to finish today, especially if they want to try to do something fun while we're gone. All right. The next thing you need to do is start of a new month or level. We're going to jot down our new level plans, any changes per subject, if there's any no school days. We're going to fill in the calendar for the new month. So let me kind of give you an idea of what I did here. Okay, so for my youngest daughter, what I did was I am going to read her 4 stories, 1 each day, and then she's going to write about it on Fridays. If she has too much trouble with that, I'm going to read 1 story each day. So that's the same story, and then she'll tell me about the end of the week. So we'll just kind of see how it's going to go, but it's nice to have a backup if I'm unsure about something. Her workout's going to increase to a minimum of 3 songs or 10 minutes. And as a family, we're actually going to work on Spanish this week together. I can use my electronic or my knowledge from high school, but either way, I think it'd be nice for us to all kind of work on a language together as a family. There's not going to be any school on Labor Day, so I wrote that down. And then 2.5, this kind of gives you a heads up on what we're going to do with level 2.5, which is going to start the week after Labor Day weekend, or excuse me, after Labor Day week, not weekend. So we'll talk about that more later. Okay, let's see what else here. I wrote down the books that she picked out to read and kind of made my change. Whenever we do 2.5, which is still in September, these are just some things I'm going to do. Again, we'll talk about that later. I wrote down her elective, so you can do something like this for notes if you wish. Not totally necessary. You can look at her month schedule. You can see that the one thing we're adding is free write. Next week we're adding free write, and then here's where we're going to add in more. Her math day is going to be on Monday, and Thursday we're going to do something as a family, whereas another kid's math day is Tuesday and another is Wednesday, etc.
So there's my monthly calendar. I have that for everybody's schedule, including my own. Mine's a little bit more detailed, but it gives you a pretty good idea of the documentation you need to take care of before we continue on tomorrow. Okay, here's my oldest. I don't know if you would call this simplified or not, but it just gives you another way to look at some notes. I did basically the same thing. The main thing was the attendance, a simple explanation of what they did, and then ideas for the next month, especially if you don't want to forget them. So remember, if you follow me on Facebook, find me on Facebook, I'll include you in the group. I actually post pictures of these so you don't have to try to rewind a video. Okay, let's talk about level 2. First thing you want to do is increase the reading level if necessary. The only one I had to do this with was my youngest daughter, but it really depends on how you started. You want to also increase the workout time or type. You kind of want to do this with each level. Again, this is not as necessary, but just things to maybe think about. And that's the same with changing up the elective if possible. My kids just colored every time they did an elective, so I'm like, okay, let's change it up. That's why we're doing Spanish, and I'll just kind of try to keep some variations in mind as we go. Okay, this is the one you have to do. This is the big change in level 2, and that is adding free write on Fridays. No extra time is needed for level 2 because it's literally just replacing reading on Fridays. Instead of reading 5 days a week, they're only going to read 4. And on that 5th day, they're going to write about what they read. Make sure they're actually paying attention to what they're reading and understanding it. Some other things you might want to do for level 2 is create some variations if needed. I already gave you an example of that for my youngest daughter. If it doesn't work out so well with reading different stories, we're going to just read the same one over and over again so she can get an understanding of one story. And then you want to get free write notebooks if you haven't done that yet. There's my 3. I have one for each kid, different colors. I'm going to keep them as these free write notebooks only. I won't put anything else in them, and they're just going to use it throughout the entire year. Okay, the next thing is just kind of looking ahead. We're going to do level 2 for 2 weeks after Labor Day week, and then we're going to start up level 2.5 for that next 5-day week. We're going to do that for 3 weeks, rounding out September. Level 3 is going to start in October. That's where we'll add some more content. It all kind of depends on how much time I have to put something together with the move. I'm hoping to do quite a bit. If not, I may do kind of a level 3 and then a level 3.5 like I am in September. We'll just kind of see. Level 2.5, the thing that we're going to finish out that last 3 weeks, we're going to add some math and some more ELA, so just a heads up on that. We will talk about no school days next week as well as maybe a little bit of 2.5. So that's kind of looking ahead. Here is your homework. It's quite a list. The first thing you want to do is make sure you have those free write notebooks if you don't have them already. You want one per child. Make sure you have them by Friday. You can use anything around the house. I chose to get some new ones. They were pretty cheap, but really not a big deal. You want to make a list of free write options. Let me show you mine right here. I just write them down as I think of them. I may have them just summarize the story. They can add a chapter to the story, write a letter to a character. Let's see here. I may just say, give me some info on the story. So maybe they could say, here's the setting, here are the characters, here's some of the events, etc. Just different variations. I'm going to make sure they kind of switched up each week. I don't want them to do the same thing over and over again, but here's some ideas. Feel free to add to it. And if you come up with any great ones, please put them in the comments. I would love to see them myself. Okay, number 3, not necessary that you do it right now, but in a couple weeks you do want to have a focus day per kid where they're going to work on math and other ELA stuff. I'm only going to do 1 day per kid that I focus on them, and then 1 day that we work on stuff as a family. You want to set up your September schedule if you haven't already. You want to document level 1 in August, kind of like I showed you to do. Do that tonight, tomorrow, or as soon as you get the chance. Another one that you can do ahead of time if you want, get an idea of your no school days. I would say for now you can probably go ahead and tack on a no school day for Labor Day, but maybe think ahead. I already kind of came up with my Thanksgiving ideas and anything I wanted to get rid of in October, so just think about that. Don't forget to join my Facebook page, especially if you want pictures of these, and check out my random tips, because throughout the week sometimes I leave some random ideas. For instance, I kind of gave an idea on school days and music. So go check those out if you get a chance. Okay, I think that was everything. Hopefully this is helpful. I'm excited to finally start level 2 because it adds a little more, feels a little bit more like school. Hopefully what you've noticed so far is your kids have started to come up with a little bit of
habit to do the things. Like I said before, I think my son, on days that aren't even school days, he's like, oh yeah, I need to work out, because it's just becoming a habit to him, which is really our main goal the last 2 weeks. I don't think there's anything else at the moment. Any questions, please leave in the comments. Don't forget to try to find me on Facebook. That's where I post everything else, and updates to my videos as well. And happy homeschooling. We'll talk to you next week right before Labor Day.